Traveling to Thailand offers the best value for money, and I've heard the beaches there are full of beautiful women, all shapes and sizes. Let's go and see for ourselves. Maybe we'll have a romantic encounter.
My childhood friend Alex Johnson had his arm around my shoulder, staring ahead as if he could see the beaches of Thailand through the skyscrapers. I shivered and snapped back to reality. The faint pain of the sedative being injected into my wrist lingered, and I could still see the white coat of the psychiatrist in my mind. I touched my wrist and pinched my ear. It hurt. It was real. I was back. I, John Brown, was really back.
What's wrong with you? Are you mesmerized by my good looks?
In my previous life, Alex Johnson had said the same thing. At that time, I thought he was just joking with me, so I played along.
Yes, I'm mesmerized by you.
Who knew Alex Johnson would take it seriously? Given that I had been single for 18 years, he increasingly believed I had ulterior motives towards him. Using the excuse of a graduation trip, he took me to Thailand and admitted me to a renowned clinic that treated same-gender attractions.
Good thing I caught it early. Having a guy fall for me is just bad luck.
I initially thought a psychiatric hospital was still a hospital. As long as I behaved normally, they would realize I wasn't ill and release me soon. But I was too naive. Before leaving, Alex Johnson maxed out my card to pay a hefty medical fee, with only one request: don't let him out. I went from calm to breakdown in the psychiatric hospital, eventually resorting to self-harm. To avoid liability, the hospital administered large doses of tranquilizers daily. The needle injections into my wrist veins slowly swelled into a lump. Unable to endure the mental torment, one night, while the staff were asleep, I ended it all by hitting my head against the wall. After my death, my soul returned home, just in time to see Alex Johnson getting married. At the wedding, he mingled with guests, while a video of a popular singer rapping played on the screen. Someone mentioned me during the banquet.
I don't know when he changed his orientation and decided to stay in Thailand as a server.
Everyone knew what working as a server in Thailand implied.
Disgusting.
Others chimed in.
Didn't expect him to be that kind of person.
Even mentioning him feels dirty.
A man doing such things, bringing shame to us Chinese.
As everyone gossiped, Alex Johnson lowered his head, secretly pleased. I floated around in anger, shouting, "You're lying." It was all Alex Johnson's doing. But no one heard my cries, and no one cared. I watched helplessly as they smeared my name, my rage finding no outlet. Unexpectedly, when I opened my eyes, I had been reborn. Reborn to the time before the trip to Thailand. I grabbed his hand, looked into his eyes, and said with deep emotion,
Thank you, Alex Johnson, for always thinking of me.
Seeing Alex Johnson suppress his disgust while forcing a smile, I felt a cold laugh inside. This time, I would send Alex Johnson to Thailand to experience a different life. I held Alex Johnson's hand tightly, my fingers rubbing the back of his hand. He wore a stiff smile, but his arm was trying to pull away.
Don't mention it. We've been friends since we were kids.
He kept rubbing his hand on his clothes, discreetly moving away, a hint of disdain in his eyes, but his words were pleasant.
The tickets are cheaper for next Monday. Let's book for then.
Sigh.
I let out a long sigh, burying my head in my arms, looking dejected.
What's wrong? Is there a problem? If you have any difficulties, tell me. I'll definitely help you.
My parents, they are very frugal. They won't give me any money for the trip. Maybe you should go with someone else. I won't go.
No way! You have to go!
Realizing he was too excited, he forced himself to calm down.
How about you take a loan? I heard there are online loans that don't require a job.
Alex Johnson was talking about a risky loan. In my previous life, my parents also didn't support me going abroad, saying it was unsafe for someone my age to go to Thailand. So Alex Johnson encouraged me to take a risky loan online. When I refused, he tricked me into taking a bath, installed a camera in the bathroom, and coaxed me into unknowingly taking on a huge loan. The money from the loan was used by Alex Johnson to send me to a mental hospital, becoming my death warrant. My eyes lit up, as if I thought this plan was feasible.
Really? That's great. Then I don't have to wait for the 3 million inheritance from my great-grandfather.
Alex Johnson shivered and asked,
What 3 million?
You forgot? My grandfather's father, my great-grandfather, settled on Wall Street. He passed away last month and left a will saying each great-grandchild with a clean credit record gets 3 million, grandchildren get 10 million, and the rest is divided among his children.
I took out a bank card.
It will be deposited into this card, but I guess my mom won't let me have a penny.
So, clean credit. What if the credit isn't clean?
No clean credit, no money. That's what my great-grandfather said. He worked in finance and hated people with bad credit.
My great-grandfather on Wall Street, Alex Johnson, knew about that. But what Alex Johnson didn't know was that my great-grandfather ran a Chinese restaurant on Wall Street, not a financial tycoon. He didn't have a huge inheritance, only a property on Wall Street, and even if it was sold, the money wouldn't come to me.
Let's not talk about that. Tell me how to get the loan.
Alex Johnson grabbed my phone.
Well, I thought about it. How about I lend you the money first?
He kept his eyes on my bank card.
You can pay me back when you get the inheritance.
I laughed inwardly, but outwardly I kept refusing.
No, you've helped me too much already. I can't borrow your money.
Afraid I wouldn't agree. Alex Johnson snatched my bank card.
How about this? You leave your bank card with me, and I'll cover your travel expenses. Is that okay? By the way, what's your PIN?
Suppressing a smile, I gave him 6 digits. As expected, Alex Johnson said he needed to use the restroom. When he returned, there was an extra 50,000 on his phone, and he generously transferred 45,000 to me, reminding me to pay him back 50,000.
That 10% is interest. We're good friends. I'm not taking advantage of you.
I glanced at his phone, which hadn't yet locked, and saw a newly downloaded risky loan app.
Don't worry.
Alex Johnson was willing to take out a loan for me, so I couldn't just do nothing in return. I put my arm around his shoulder and took him to the most luxurious restaurant in the city.
Let's go somewhere special today, Alex.
Pointing to the crab on the English menu, I asked the waiter to serve it. Alex Johnson, who loved to indulge in pleasures but had never been to such a high-end place, looked around nervously.
Isn't this expensive?
Spending money on you is my pleasure.
Alex Johnson shivered and quickly lowered his head. Soon, the crab was served. As the lid was lifted, steam rose, forming a small cloud that enveloped me in a fragrant mist.
This is the life.
I took a deep breath and bit into the crab meat. Delicious. Alex Johnson had a plate in front of him too. He glanced at me, and I looked back at him gently. He quickly lowered his head again. After a few rounds of this, he didn't dare look up anymore, burying his head in his plate and silently enjoying the food. The time was right. I quietly got up, asked the waiter to pack 2 servings of crab, and left Alex Johnson alone. As I walked, the aroma of the crab followed me. I arrived at a park and saw a street performer energetically rapping.
Yo, check it out! Hello everyone, I'm Michael Smith, a solo artist with 2.5 years of practice, who loves singing, dancing, rapping, and basketball.
Before he finished, there was laughter all around. The park was full of elderly people who didn't understand rap, they just found this young man strange. But who would have known that in a month, a nationwide rap show would air, and this strange young man named Michael Smith would become an internet sensation, a rap god of his generation.
Hey man, mind if I join you?
Yo, I rap, you do your thing. The park is yours.
To be honest, I'm a streamer. I hope my live broadcast here won't bother you.
Michael Smith's fingers danced as he was about to speak, but I grabbed his microphone and held the crab under his nose.
How about we eat first?
The power of crab was undeniable. After the meal, Michael Smith opened up.
I'm a senior in a music academy, studying composition. I find rap interesting, so I sing in the park for fun.
As he spoke, his expression darkened.
In 6 months, I'll graduate. If my music doesn't take off by then, I'll have to find a construction job.
Man, I hear a certain sentiment in your music. I bet you'll make a big splash in less than 6 months.
Brother, after all these years, you're the first person to understand my music.
What I understood wasn't the music, but the ways of the world. Just as I was feeling smug, my phone rang. I glanced at the screen, then quickly hung up and turned off the phone.
Why didn't you answer?
Scam call.
This childhood friend who had ruined my life in Thailand, making me wish I were gone, now only had to spend some money to make up for the 5,000 he had cheated me out of. It wasn't too much to ask. But I overestimated Alex Johnson and underestimated the prices at the luxury hotel.
I'll have 3 servings of hairy crabs, please. 1 for Alex Johnson, 1 for myself, and 1 to take away for Michael Smith.
Including the service charge, the total came to over 4,700. Who would have thought that Alex Johnson, thinking I was the fool paying the bill, decided to indulge? As soon as I left, he ordered a bottle of red wine and a serving of foie gras, pushing the bill up to 19,800. When it was time to pay, he couldn't reach me, and the hotel, thinking he was dining and dashing, called the police. The police, considering he had just finished his college entrance exams, managed to persuade the hotel to let him work off the debt. The hotel reluctantly agreed, and the manager had him wake up at 5 to clean, help in the kitchen at 7, move supplies at 9, serve dishes at 11, and clean up until midnight. After 3 days of this, the hotel finally recouped their costs and kicked him out. When I turned on my phone and received Alex Johnson's call, he was so weak he could barely speak.
William Adams, why did you invite me to dinner and then leave without paying?
Sorry, Alex, my parents called me home to discuss my great-grandfather's inheritance. I was in such a hurry, I forgot to tell you.
The anger on the other end of the line subsided.
Hey, we're like family. Whether you treat me or I treat you, it's all the same. By the way, about your great-grandfather's inheritance, no changes, right?
There's a pleasant surprise, but it's too complicated to explain over the phone.
Alex Johnson was thrilled.
Let's talk tonight. I've been working. I mean, exercising a lot lately and want to relax in a hot spring. Let's meet at the Grand Hot Spring at 7. I'll pay.
After hanging up, my smile froze. A hot spring. Again with the hot spring. In my previous life, our first day in Thailand was spent at a hot spring. That day, for some reason, the pool was full of beautiful women, and only Alex Johnson and I were the only guys. Having been single for 18 years, I had never seen such a scene. I didn't dare look around, only daring to glance at Alex Johnson beside me. And Alex Johnson, because of my behavior that day, became even more convinced that I had romantic feelings for him and was determined to send me to a mental hospital. At 7 in the evening, Michael Smith arrived at our usual spot with his microphone and guitar.
Buddy, why do we have to sing tonight?
Don't worry about it. I consulted a master who said singing tonight would bring good luck.
Hearing the word luck, Michael Smith's eyes lit up, and he quickly set up his equipment, ready to perform. I found the perfect angle, turned on my fully charged phone, entered the live streaming platform, and started the broadcast. The streets were bustling, and the moon was high. This was the time when people relaxed after dinner. Young people often stayed home playing on their phones, while middle-aged folks would find a bathhouse to soak in. I intentionally chose a hazy angle, making Michael Smith look melancholic and cool. The number of viewers in the live stream quickly increased, with many asking,
"His singing is so good, what's this guy's name?" Is he a professional? He looks and acts like one.
I remained silent, letting the live stream gain momentum. That night, on the entire social media platform, my live stream Dragon and Phoenix Legend ranked second. Many people kept asking in the comments when the next live stream would be, and quite a few sent gifts. I shared the earnings with Michael Smith. Michael Smith was deeply moved, hugging me with tears streaming down his face.
Brother, do you know? You were sent by heaven to save me, not only recognizing my music but also willing to invest in me.
It's not me investing in you. It's the rewards from the live stream. They were meant for you.
That's because of you, they rewarded me. Brother, I'm not an ungrateful person. Believe me, when I make it big, I'll make sure you never go hungry.
Michael Smith's eyes were filled with tears, swearing with all his heart. I held his hand and seized the moment.
How about we sign a contract? From now on, any rewards for Dragon and Phoenix Legend, whether from live streams or elsewhere, we split the earnings 50-50. What do you think?
Michael Smith was so excited he couldn't express it. He kept reviewing the live stream on his phone, and after a while, he suddenly exclaimed,
Who's this person at the top?
The top live stream was from a borderline streamer. His content was him flirting with a stranger in a grand hot spring in Xinjiang. At first, the man glared at him, but after seeing his CK underwear and gold watch, his attitude softened. In the live stream, the two chatted happily, exchanged contact information, and the streamer even sent the stranger a transfer of 18,888 yuan on WeChat, calling it a token of their relationship. On the screen, Alex Johnson was so excited he was about to kneel. The screen was filled with comments.
Big brother, you're awesome. 666. Big brother, we're like brothers from different mothers.
Change the gender, and the insults would be endless.
I had to admit, Michael Smith's comment was spot on. I smiled. This streamer was David Miller. To put it nicely, he was a streamer. To put it bluntly, he was a master manipulator. He specialized in manipulating young men with weak minds to go to Thailand and make money for him. Those young men, inexperienced in the world, were thoroughly manipulated and willingly gave up their dignity for him. In my previous life, Alex Johnson had bribed David Miller to send me to a bar in Thailand to be a cash cow, but I was too stubborn to be swayed, wasting the money Alex Johnson spent on David Miller. Enraged, he had me forcibly committed to a mental institution. In this life, I used the money he transferred to me to bribe David Miller and gave him a big red envelope, asking him to make sure to transfer it to Alex Johnson. In just a few hours, Alex Johnson had opened up to David Miller. It seemed he didn't dislike being close to the same gender, he disliked being close to poor people of the same gender. I followed David Miller's live stream. In the following days, he kept showcasing his friendship with Alex Johnson in the live stream. Today they were eating lobster, tomorrow they were playing on a yacht, and the day after, they were going diving. Occasionally, David Miller would touch him, and at first, Alex Johnson resisted, but gradually, he started to put his arm around David Miller's shoulder. When they went diving, Alex Johnson even helped David Miller change into his diving suit, saying that good friends should be close. I, his true childhood friend, was left behind. But I didn't care because they were diving in Thailand. With Alex Johnson gone, I continued live streaming singing in the park with Michael Smith.
We can't always sing original songs, so I found a few songs from the 80s for you to try.
I'm a rapper. Please respect me.
Rappers need to innovate too. You can't always be doing the same old yo-yo.
Michael Smith's expression darkened. I wondered if I had been too blunt, if I should have been more tactful with a folk artist.
He held his guitar, cleared his throat, and started singing. In the village, there's a girl named Xiaofeng. Hey!
I nearly fell to the ground in shock. He was rapping an old song. What a joke.
Many people have a sentimental attachment to old songs. Messing with them like this might upset the audience.
No one will be upset.
How could they not be? Our popularity is hard-earned. We can't afford to take this risk.
I'll take the risk.
You? realizing, why aren't you moving your lips when you speak?
Michael Smith's gaze went past me, looking behind me. I turned around to see a long-legged beauty in a suit dress, wearing sunglasses, her red lips slightly parted.
Hello, I'm Anna Thompson, a producer from Xing Xing Records.
Anna! The gold medal producer who had made many singers famous. Michael Smith's benefactor in my previous life. She had finally arrived.
Hello, Miss Thompson. I'm James Reynolds, a core member of Dragon Phoenix Legend, the Reynolds and Flying Dragon in the Sky.
Anna gently withdrew her hand and got straight to the point.
I saw your videos online. I think your singing style has great potential. Are you two interested in working with me?
Yes. Of course, yes.
Anna offered generous terms, saying she wanted to make our duo famous. Michael Smith was very excited, but I hesitated.
Well, to be honest, only Michael Smith can sing in Dragon Phoenix Legend. You can sign him. As for me, if you trust me, could you let me manage the new media promotion channels like the Big Eye account and the live streaming account?
Anna frowned, but before she could speak, Michael Smith was already unhappy.
No way, we signed together or not at all. Those marketing accounts, you can give them to anyone you want, but my brother, I must stick with him.
This naive fool.
I'm not trying to part ways with you, it's just that I can't sing.
What's so hard about that? From now on, I'll sing, and you'll be in charge of the atmosphere.
What?
Just sing, yo, check it out.
So music could be played like this. And so, the matter was happily decided. Soon, the college entrance exam results came out. Michael Smith recommended that I apply for the music management major at Xing Xing Music Academy, saying that this way I could study without delaying singing and managing the live streaming account. I understood what he left unsaid. This school's major had a low score requirement, and with my grades, I couldn't get into other schools or majors. I thought of Alex Johnson, his results should be out too. I opened WeChat and asked him.
How many points did you get?
What I got in return was a red exclamation mark. I then opened David Miller's livestream. The latest one about Alex Johnson was 3 days ago. At that time, the two were still indulging in Thailand. Alex Johnson had started wearing flashy clothes that exposed his chest and waist, with makeup on his face, looking at David Miller with affectionate eyes, a gaze that seemed to linger. In the replay, he clung to David Miller, saying David Miller was his best friend.
I once had a childhood friend. I was sincere with him, but he had ulterior motives towards me.
At this point, Alex Johnson pretended to wipe his eyes.
People like that, just block them.
At some point, Michael Smith suddenly appeared beside me. He peeked at my phone and saw the red exclamation mark.
Michael Smith, tone, curious your friend?
Character name, tone, serious a childhood friend.
Michael Smith patted my shoulder.
Michael Smith, tone, hopeful life is about meeting and parting. You'll have many more friends in the future. By the way, this officer is looking for you.
Only then did I notice the uniformed officer standing next to Michael Smith. I quickly stood up and politely asked.
Character name, tone, polite, hello, is there something I can help with?
The officer took out a photo and asked.
Officer, tone, serious, are you two good friends who planned a trip to Thailand together? His mother reported him missing. Have you been in contact with him recently? Why is it that you plan to go to Thailand together, but the departure records show only him?
I handed my phone to the officer, showing him the large exclamation mark.
Character name, tone, serious, we were childhood friends, but maybe not anymore. As for why he's missing, I don't know. I don't even know when he went to Thailand.
After confirming that I had nothing to do with Alex Johnson's disappearance, the officer just asked me to inform him if I had any news. Michael Smith saw the officer out and returned to find me staring at my phone in a daze. He patted my shoulder and comforted me.
Michael Smith, tone, friendly, don't worry. With today's advanced technology, maybe your friend's phone is just lost, and he can't contact his family.
I looked up at him carefully. Which eye of his saw that I was worried? I was just staring at my phone for too long and my eyes were uncomfortable. But his next words made me swallow my explanation.
Michael Smith, tone, excited if you're really worried. I can talk to Anna, and we can go to the recording studio in Thailand. Last time, Anna mentioned that a European music production team is in Thailand. If you're really concerned about your childhood friend, why don't we go to Thailand and try our luck?
My eyes lit up. If I guessed right, going to Thailand would not only reimburse the airfare but also allow us to stay in a luxury hotel. Narrator, tone, serious. I was still too naive. Going to Thailand would not only reimburse the airfare but also let us choose between business class and economy class. I sat in the business class of an international airline, touching here and there, when a tall flight attendant came over and asked.
Flight attendant, cheerful, would you like something to drink? Coffee, tea, or Coca-Cola?
Character name, tone, excited orange juice.
Michael Smith, with his flair, leisurely took off his sunglasses and softly said.
Michael Smith, tone, stylish water, no sugar.
See, that's why he's a musician. Even drinking water has to be stylish. The plane landed, we transferred to a business car, arrived at the hotel, and enjoyed the food. Michael Smith looked at my clueless demeanor and couldn't help but laugh.
Michael Smith, tone, friendly, don't be nervous. Just think of it as a trip. No need to be so uptight. Think about it, Thailand isn't much different from Yunnan or Guangxi, just a bit farther.
Michael Smith told me about Thailand's history and its connections with our country.
Michael Smith, tone, serious. If our ancestors had worked a bit harder, Thailand might be called Siam Province now.
I didn't expect Michael Smith to know not only music but also history. Michael Smith flicked his hair like a proud peacock.
Michael Smith, tone, proud. I even scored above the first tier line in the college entrance exam.
Character name, tone, surprised really? That's amazing. What was your score?
Michael Smith smiled sheepishly.
Michael Smith, tone, shy. The first tier line was 545. I scored 54.5.
Character name, tone, shouting what?
He really did exceed the first tier line by a decimal point.
So, how did you get into the music academy?
Accidentally won a music award, got a free pass.
I knew this. In my previous life, when Michael Smith first became popular, it was revealed that he had represented his school in a national singing competition in high school and won first prize. I didn't expect he got into college because of that competition. What a stroke of luck. No, more like a blessing for the naive. The first time I came to Thailand, the hotel staff recommended we visit the largest local bar.
You've come at the right time. There's a masquerade ball tonight.
A masquerade ball, where everyone wears masks to disguise themselves. Perfect. I was also afraid of running into Alex Johnson and feeling awkward, so I casually bought a fox mask. Michael Smith, on the other hand, dressed himself up as a giant guitar. Truly a music lover. Now that we had money, we booked a luxury booth in the bar and ordered a dozen orange juices.
This is a bar.
I pulled out a wad of cash.
3 minutes later, a dozen orange juices appeared at our booth. Perhaps it was the cash that did the trick, as countless hostesses in bizarre outfits started crowding around us. I sent them away one by one until only one, dressed in a bikini and swing, refused to leave. This person wasn't wearing a mask, had heavy makeup, was nearly 180 centimeters tall, and had an Adam's apple. It was a man. I shivered and moved further into the booth. He followed me into the booth. It seemed he wouldn't leave unless I bought his drink. Reluctantly, I pulled out some money and handed it to him, indicating he could leave after putting down the drink. He was delighted and stuffed the money into his chest in front of me. His chest was padded with a lot of sponges, and there was a crescent-shaped scar on his exposed skin. just like Alex Johnson's. Alex Johnson had been bitten by a dog as a child, leaving a crescent-shaped scar on his chest. I suddenly realized and stared at his face. But his makeup was too thick. He looked like Alex Johnson, but also not. After stashing the money, he swayed over to a nearby booth and handed the money to a masked man. The masked man took off his mask, took a sip of his drink, and then warmly embraced him.
Isn't that the top streamer from a live broadcast?
I stood up and looked closely. The masked man was talking to the man in the bikini, and his lip movements clearly said,
Alex, you're amazing.
I shivered all over. It seemed Alex Johnson had achieved in this life what he wanted to do to me in the previous life but couldn't, becoming a cash cow. Whether this cash cow could make money for himself was another matter. All I knew was that Alex Johnson didn't dislike the affection of the same gender, and he didn't mind doing anything as long as the price was right. In the previous life, he despised me because my affection brought no benefits, like a goddess hating a loser who admired her. After kissing David Miller, Alex Johnson continued to go from booth to booth selling drinks, making quite a bit of money in just an hour. It seemed that although he was neither male nor female now, he was content with it. That night's events felt like a closure for my past life, and I felt a weight lifted off my chest, breathing easier. The next day, Michael Smith and I went to the recording studio to record a song. Following Michael Smith's instructions.
Yo, check it out.
All day, and by the end, I actually felt the charm of rap. When the song was released, Dragon and Phoenix Legend became an instant hit. At the celebration party, old friends who hadn't contacted me in ages showed up uninvited to congratulate me.
Did you hear? Alex Johnson got married in Thailand.
Really? I heard the other person is quite wealthy.
Yeah, wealthy, but the other person is a man.
Is the other person named Miller?
It was indeed David Miller. The two got married in Thailand, but David Miller's live streaming account was banned for inappropriate content, and Alex Johnson had to sell drinks every day to support himself and David Miller. I heard their life was chaotic. Several times, Alex Johnson wanted to return to China, but according to Thai law, it was difficult for him to leave Thailand. Someone suggested a toast to my career. Champagne in hand, I drank it all, just in time to see a video of Michael Smith and me singing on the big screen. A line of text at the bottom introduced me as a top student from the Music Academy. The scene was lively, with glasses clinking, and Michael Smith raised his glass to me from a distance. I smiled and raised my glass in return, thinking to myself, this is the life I should have.